How do you feel about problems? Most people hate problems, but why? Maybe it's because they think it gets in the way of life or of progress or even of their happiness. But the fact is, problems are a part of life. They are part of your progress and they end up leading to happiness. The problem with problems is more how we feel about them. When they upset you, solving them will be very difficult, if not impossible. But when you see the problem as an opportunity for solution, life feels very different. People who live their dreams don't let problems stand in their way. They can't. To get where you want to go, you'll face roadblocks and obstacles, and you have to figure out how to get over, under, around, or through them. Or you get stuck. Worse still, defeated. The skill you need to solve problems is the same skill you need for figuring out a puzzle. Because that's really all a problem is, a puzzle that needs to be solved. And believe it or not, most of us have been in training to solve problems since our early years, starting with our first 5-piece jigsaw puzzle. And then we graduated to 20 pieces, 100, 500, even 5,000 or more piece puzzles. But what about a crossword puzzle, number and word games? They're also puzzles. Even tic-tac-toe, or noughts and crosses, as we used to call it in Singapore. They present you with the puzzle of not only winning, but avoiding being beaten. So why, if we've been solving problems since we were little kids, do we fear problems as adults? Perhaps it lies in doubting our ability, or that we've ignored them, or relied on someone else to solve them. And sometimes it could just be our attitude about it. As Captain Sparrow in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean said, "The problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem." The problem with problems is that most people have a problem with it. Personally speaking, I greet problems in life, in business, and with horses with interest rather than dread. They interest me because I immediately start thinking about the solution, and I'm quite practical about it. I define the problem, detect the origin or cause, I come up with a minimum of 3 solutions, and I decide which one to use. And if that didn't work, I reanalyze and try the next one. When I came to the USA in 1993 to help change the world for horses, my husband-to-be failed to tell me that he was about $300,000 in debt. Now that was a surprise and a big problem. We had no money. In fact, we were in debt. As we drove around the country in our little motorhome, aka office and house, we were in constant problem-solving mode. How do we get our message out to people locally, let alone around the world? How do we get more people to come to our demonstrations and clinics? How do we simplify our message? How do we make enough to pay our staff or buy enough fuel to get to the next clinic location several hours from here? How can we support our customers on their horsemanship journey? Finding answers to these questions sometimes took days rather than hours, and months rather than weeks, and sometimes years before we found the solution. But we kept trying things until we found what worked. What I want you to notice here is that we didn't start with, how do we make enough money? We started with how to get our message out there. You see, the problem is not the problem. It wasn't that we didn't have the money, it's that we didn't have enough customers. So let's talk about you. How is your attitude when you have a problem? Do you feel scared or energized? Do you avoid it or spring into action? Do you feel like you're the only one who's ever had this problem? Many years ago, a student asked me, when will I stop having problems with my horse so I can start doing what I really want? Like you're never going to have any problems ever. Horsemanship is a great metaphor for life because no matter what you do, there will always be problems to solve as you figure out organizational issues and iron out emotional issues, or strive to grow, advance, and excel. And horses don't lie. They don't cheat or try to fluff your ego. Let's face it, they were fine until we showed up. And no wonder horses are so often used for therapeutic services and even management retreats. If I'm not part of the solution, then I must be part of the problem. And don't forget, the problems you solve become stepping stones on the road to success rather than obstacles in your way. Let's think of it this way. Let's imagine that each problem you encounter is a locked gate on the road to the top, your goals and your ultimate dreams. Once you figure out the combination or key to that lock, you'll be that much closer to achieving your goals. And when you get to that locked gate, what do? Do you give up and turn around because you don't know the combination or have the key? Do you fiddle with the combination for a bit and then give up? Do you get emotional or frustrated? Or do you find the solution? The people who live the life they want never let the fact that they don't have the key to the gate hold them back. They try to pick the lock. They attempt to climb over the gate. They try to squeeze under it or even go right through the middle of it. They may even try to break it down, ask for help, or anything else they can think of. When all else fails, they'll go around the gate by finding another route that will take them where they want to go. Even if you're forced to find another route, the knowledge you gain from solving these kinds of problems actually speeds up your progress rather than hinders it. In the next video, let's talk about how to solve problems.